Hello, it is Eldrad Wolvesbane, the unofficial wizard of the OSR. Please like and subscribe. Also, remember, any of you out there, if you are a medium to small video creator, I have the Video Creatives Guild, which basically is put our names on the Discord list, which will be listed below here, and put your YouTube channel or whatever you're using channel, podcast, whatever, and put it on the list. Like and watch and subscribe to the other people on the list, and they do the same for you. That way we cross-pollinate and help our OSR traditional role-playing channels grow. It'll be a good thing. So, also, darn it, new guy, is it Greenlight Gaming, I believe, anyway, or Green Game, anyway, new guy, just came out with a video. One of his was the origins of how he started the game, and I thought, wow, interesting, so, basically, back in the, like 1980 or so, 81, somewhere in that vicinity, my original Dungeon Master was playing us through a game of Dungeon. He actually had the basic D&D set already, but just was kind of, Dungeon was the game. He was like, well, instead of doing that, we'll just play Dungeon. And then one day he decided to make a few maps and stuff, and he was a pretty brilliant kid when we were kids. Anyway, he ended up making that first Dungeons and Dragons basic module called the Chaotic Canyon and the Dungeon of Chaos and things of the sort. Made his own instead of using the one in the box. Later on, we of course did keep on the Borderlands. Everybody probably did. So, the first time I played back in 81, I think I was like 11 years old, it was, wait a second, what is this? And my character was, of course, named Sir, and then my actual non-pin name. And we had Morgan Ironwolf in the party, and he had an NPC named Randall who was actually chaotic. So, made it to second level, but at one point in time, Randall, after we got some treasure, decided to betray me and shoot me with a crossbow and kill my character. Despite that, I was hooked. Afterwards, for years through middle school into high school, there were character after character. But that's basically how I got started. Now, one of the things that was going on in the 80s is our Dungeon Master was a BX Dungeon Master. So, I didn't really get to experience advanced D&D. And kind of surprising after reading over advanced years later. And then I did, but with that group and that Dungeon Master, we did not play advanced like everyone else was doing. And if you remember, if you were from that era, basic D&D was considered the kids' game or the baby game, So we were kind of like, you guys play basic, and then like, well, you guys have games where you have plus 20 swords, because our Dungeon Master honestly didn't give us anything like that. Looking back, as much fun as I had, I wish we would have played advanced, because I did actually get to play it a few times early high school, and I was quite amazed by the stuff in advanced. The attributes, of course, were different. That was kind of a shock, but it was pretty impressive, advanced D&D. Now, as the 90s came along, late 80s, early 90s, second edition came out, and pretty much deserted my rule cyclopedia in favor of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons second edition. I had a lot of good times, have some very fond memories in the very early 90s of big epic games we had with this old neighborhood that a bunch of my friends lived in. Wasn't my neighborhood, but had some fantastic games. Unfortunately, the campaign we had, first group all went into something very similar to the mouth in the Tomb of Horrors. Pretty much, I think it's every Dungeon Master copies that somewhere. So the first party, except for one character, all dies. So then the next party, they just kind of, the game kind of faded out, died of stupidity. Characters ran into a tornado and all got flung up into the air and took 20d6 damage, and they were on like third or fourth level. So it was kind of crappy how they died. It was kind of suicide. It was kind of like the time for the campaign to be over. And then we never played really for some unknown reason, which we had all the free time. And yes, in the late 80s, early 90s, I had a huge amount of irresponsibility I could deal with. Lived at home, worked little dilly-dally jobs, was out of school, so it was pretty amazing time of life that I had all this free time. And if there's any advice I can give people out there, if you are gamers, try to game as much as you can until full adulthood starts ruining it like you wouldn't believe. You'll try to game and jobs, schedules, families, things of the sort, which are not bad things. Let's get nothing wrong, but you have to trade your free youthful time out for adulthood. So now, once you become an adult, you can make time to game, and that's what I suggest you do. But while you're still young, or if you're at a situation in your life like you're just recently retired, which is basically kind of another version of being a teenager with body aches and a lot of engine lights coming on, it's time to game. If you're retired or you're still young with free time, do it while you can, because you will have times in your life where you cannot game. There'll be other responsibilities, other things of the sort. So anyway, that's just a few musings and thoughts. Ildred Wolfsbane. Please like and subscribe. Over and out.